I want to propose something for the community. When we do an AMA, we need like a song entrance, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Let's what about this one? Let me play something here. Maybe like a Lord of the Rings entrance until the AMA begins or something like that. Something like so if anybody wants to propose a theme song that we can play on the 5 minutes until we wait for every AMA, I'll make sure we play it to make it more entertaining.
Rambo, Eye of the Tiger. No, it's okay.
Oh, okay, I like that one. Yes, let's go for the pump. Why not? See, I was going more for the geeky just because somebody passed me a gift of Lord of the Rings, and I was like, oh, it would be nice to hear like the 2 minutes of the song while we wait for the AMA, and then I can tell you some random stuff. But Eye of the Tiger, I feel it. I feel it. All right, one more minute. So Felix, grab that. Let's make a vote for the entry of the AMAs, and then we can perform that. Let's try to make it happen. So I propose Lord of the Rings. We got Eye of the Tiger. Let's see if anybody else jumps in and wants to have some other song. Anything goes. It's have to be a movie theme. It can be also, I don't know, anything goes.
Game of
Some,
Thrones.
yeah, of course, Game of Thrones, definitely. Why not? We only here into final countdown as well. See, we got a lot of topics here. You know, just all right, guys, let's begin. Showcase my face so you guys know I'm the real Edwin. Okay. Oh, there we go. Hello, guys. How's everyone? How's everyone doing? So,
Edwin, you sound really tired. Let me start first. Are you tired?
I'm dead, man. I'm dead. But I've been dead for the past 2 years because I decided to enter crypto. My life was more calm when I was just a lawyer dealing with software in a company. But they said crypto was fun. Let me tell you guys, it is, but it is not as well. So it's been a long journey with all of you guys. So let's conclude the relationship. I should come up with the best news possible right now. I am gonna come up with great news. So yeah, the journey has been long. I don't know. Some people say like, yeah, but I invested like 5 years ago. Some guy already in the comment or I don't remember where, or he wrote me like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, yeah, but I invested in BKN 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, I was like, you must be the earliest investor of all time because I was not even here. Like Bricken was not existing, but I'm very glad that you already knew you were gonna invest in Bricken. So that was a lot of fun. And then he's like, oh, you're right. Like, yeah, imagine if we would have been in 5 years. We would have ran, what's it, 2023, so that's 2018. So that's like post the one of the afterwards, so the market downtrend when Ethereum was worth 100 USD. So I'm gonna tell you a funny story before I go into the critical thinking. Uh, as you guys know, I used to work in a company where I ended up working for smart contracts and the Chainlink Association and all that. 2018, we bought, what was it, like 20 ETH? Because at the time we needed to burn some gas fees we were trying to see. I don't know if Dario here is in the chat, but I think he was the one who bought it. The other day I checked the wallet of the company. I still have it. Hey, they have a 20 ETH without moving. So that makes me think two things. That company doesn't even know they have 20 ETH in that wallet or because actually one of the former guys who we did everything he passed me the wallet is like, hey, they never moved the ETH that we bought, and I was like, that company has 20 ETH and they don't even know. I was like, how bad at accounting do you have to be? But then again, they bought the ETH for transaction purposes, so it's amazing because actually people buy for usage and not just for speculating, which is the whole deal of blockchain. But I was like, oh wow, or is it like that, or they lost the private seat, or who owned the private seat just forgot about it, or so many variables. But coming in, in another thing, I'm gonna tell you even a more funny story. So, what was it, 2014, I believe? I was sharing a flat with a former. He was also from Mexico, so maybe that's why we were friends. We were both lawyers in Barcelona, and he was the first person who ever told me about Bitcoin, like ever. I didn't really understand it. I was more corporate, so I had no clue much about technology, except that I liked it. But he was working for a law firm, which I'm not gonna say, but he was in Barcelona. Let's say top 50, why not? And at the time of mining, the law firm had a whole structure of servers working full time, and he decided to put the minting inside the service because the law firm had them in-house. There was at the time nobody used cloud servers. That became a boom around 215 to 16 with the AWS infrastructure and everything. So this guy started minting out of the service of the law firm because they were working 24/7, and they had servers, and they was just basically for running internal stupid things. So they didn't even need a server, but they over manpower because law firms they like to do everything big, right? Because the bigger your luxury you have, the bigger your law firm is. Well, in tech it doesn't work like that, but they had all of these things. So he left. He was there for a year, and he was maintaining. He was doing some things. I think he was in the Silk Road. Not gonna lie, I always thought he was in the Silk Road. But either way, he left, and a couple of years later, we found out that we were talking. And he's like, "Hey, did you ever stop the when I finally understood the Bitcoin?" I like, "No, man, I left." I was like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Yeah." So I don't know what happened. So up to date now, we don't know how many Bitcoins got minted and how many Bitcoins got stored in that server, and we don't know even if the if they ever used it. They probably never knew they were doing that, of course. But if they got wiped out on the server, or there's a database somewhere where there's some Bitcoins allocated in a law firm in Spain. So okay, just 5 minutes of remembering. Why not? But that's not why you guys are here. So let's go step by step. So I'll go straight to the good news, to the bad news. Not because there's no bad news. Fall for it. So yes, we are accepted in Mexico. You guys know that. So I'm gonna be super transparent with you guys because I think it's fair. No, we're not gonna mint. We're not gonna list in Binance. You already know that. Um, we did apply to two other law firms. Law firms. Yeah. We did apply to two other exchanges who we are looking for. So I'm gonna be transparent with you how it is right now in the market. Top 10 exchanges are moving away from listing to volume trading, right? So I understand it's fair market. In the bull run, everybody expects to make money because exchanges make money out of transaction fees. So the more volume there is, that's why, like, why would they list Pepe coin? Because of the massive volume. The question is, why wouldn't you list Pepe? Your whole business relies on you acquiring users and acquiring trading. So this is the problem with the meme coins that they amass a huge volume base, so that's why they get listed everywhere. And it's like, but your project is legit. Yes, legit in crypto, unfortunately, does not go parallelly with success. It has to do a lot of other things. And some other people even complained about us. We did a review, and you guys know they said like, yeah, but they're treating it as a meme coin, and it's like you can make everybody happy. Right? We need volume, we need traders, we need seriousness, so we need to be in balance. So this is the reality. So no matter what you do, what you back, the only thing that matters is volume. So here I'm gonna make a favor to the whole community because the next month, after they reviewing our applications, they're gonna take a while. They take between 3 weeks to 4 weeks. I'm talking about Gate and I'm talking about BQ. Yeah, I dropped the ball. Yeah, if we don't list, then it's not a failure. It happens. Okay, so I'm gonna already let you know how it can be played. It could happen. We already have the backup listings, which is great. And if we amass volume, then we go for the bigger ones. Actually, as of now, the standard in bear market is to go lower, proof volume, and apply to the bigger one. Because the bigger ones, the problem right now is reputational. All right. So what does that mean? It means that they listed so much stuff in the past that is no longer there, that they're trading that. So they want to be the ones saying that they're like the legit ones. So they don't do anything that is off business or not use. which is what happened during the bull run. A lot of the ICOs are being dumped, not dumped by the retail market, but done by the exchange. I'm already aware of some projects that I was foreseeing and some conversations that are happening where they are delisted because there's not enough volume. And I'm talking about tier one exchanges because they're not going to maintain an infrastructure they can't. So with the listing, the only reason why we lay on June 1st is because we want to know what is this application's resolution because we've been ongoing for a long time on conversations. Even getting to them, it's absolutely ridiculous right now. It's like you talking to I don't know if it's easier to talk to the president of the United States or to apply to Google. Because at the same rate, it's like you have no idea how many scam conversations I had, like crazy. Even some people passed me a contact of what it was supposed to be the real one, and it ended up being a scam. So it's like this is a problem with the crypto market. It's like they're doing so much wrong, and they're affecting absolutely everything. So it's ridiculous. But this is the market. So we need to come out to you transparent about that. It's not that we don't want to list in June. So thanks for the person who said that I was tired. I'm gonna tell you the truth about something, guys. The whole team is dead. We want to list. Really, seriously, I am the first one who wants to list. We hold a lot, and withholding does not mean that we were on vacations. Actually, the pressure has been ridiculous high. We did new public sales, new conversations. Like some members of the team, we're only focused on fundraising, and it's a lot. It's a lot for a company to handle that. So trust me on this one. I I want to launch. Like I'm right now. I went from the full bear kind of like let's not launch to die to I need to launch. Like seriously, like this company needs to know what is the final decision. We did our best. I will still die for the decisions that we did. I think they were perfect. They were on spot. We anticipated some major crashes. I think, optimistically speaking, I don't foresee this queue being great to launch. If it was up to me and I still had the energy to pursue the best optimal point, I would probably push for Q3 based on the fact that still some United States needs to be sure that the banking industry is not going to die. I think they're going to flood trillions of dollars again to make a more inflation rate, which will affect the the economic landscape for the next 2 to 3 months, and then that decision has to be evaluated by the markets. So we don't know if yet the bear market is still going to run, but with inflation rate, it's a short-term decision that benefits only a few, and then the long term is money gets devaluated, so it's a shit show, and that's basically it. But nonetheless, with some decisions, the bear market realize itself. So, I mean, that's kind of like the appropriate decision. But team wise, we need to list. And we also need to list because we've been asked for it. We can't be saying that something's happening or not. So for me, guys, seriously, here, you can record it. It's going to be on YouTube. And then you can come back and say, like, yeah, when you said it, we really want to list in June. Like, seriously, that's it. We pushed our last, boundaries, our last closures, our last fulfillment of applications, and our last connections to make sure that we do everything possible to try to list in the top 10. That has always been the goal. If we don't reach the goal, guys, then please don't judge us. It is the market. No, it's not like we haven't tried. I think we have tried enough. And sometimes you have to get with a top 20. And top 20 is still good. Like, seriously, like, I want you all to understand, please. Even I learn. It's not like I came learning that when you apply to an exchange, it's not just one click they accept you. It's uh, it's funny how we say like all Web3 is decentralized and it's free and everybody loves each other. But when you go talk to the institutional, I rather work with a public institution than an exchange. Like seriously, at least I know there's a procedure. Here, it's an absolute chaotic. So I don't. There was an exchange that I'm not gonna say the name. We're not in talks anymore. I talked with 4 listing directors, like 4 different people doing the same job. They were the listing director. So you have the listing manager or whatever. So there were 4 people who were acknowledging that the last decision. And I was like, every time I got introduced to a listing director, they introduced themselves as a listing director. And I was like, who are you? And they're like listing director. So I had to verify. And yeah, they was like, oh wow, he is a listing director. And then I went to the other one and it's like, oh wow, but he's also a listing director. And guess what? The 4 of them, they didn't even use the same CRM. So they didn't even use the same client relationship management. So the 4 of them, didn't have any clue who we were. So it was kind of like application again. And I was like, so, but I already applied. But it's like, oh yeah, but you're talking now to the European partner. And I was like, yeah, but you're the same company. So it should be the same database, or unless you're cheap enough that you don't do that. But then again, guys, what do we learn from the FTX? FTX was using, what was it, taxes report cash. I forgot the name, Turbo Agency, I believe, which is what SMEs use. So one of the biggest exchange was doing in the shitty accounting services. So I wasn't impressed. I actually was like, okay, this is a game. Let's spend zero on getting this on top and setting up this as a corporation, because why not? We were three. We don't care. We'll do everything like that. So, that's the reality on the listing factor. I'm hoping that I need that resolution this week. I personally need it. I want to focus on getting those clients, getting this traction and everything. I want to get done with the fundraise. When I get with the listing, I want to have a deadline. I want to have everybody in the team to have a deadline. Everybody in our team needs a deadline. You as an investors need a deadline. Our community needs a deadline. So I'm hoping seriously to have it as soon as possible. So if it's not June 1st, trust me on this one, it will be the next day to June. And if I have to go to Asia on a plane and look for those listing directors and sit down and invite them for a tea or whatever they want to invite, I'll be the first one to pay, even with my money, to go to that plane to grab them, because needs to happen. So that is also positive, because in the sense, I want you guys to understand really all the momentum and pressure. We're not playing, we're not gambling. We're trying to do this the most legit way. But I do understand the pressure point that it's boiling, and you guys need an answer. So I am giving you an answer now. This is it. The end of the road is here. Lastly, regarding the vote, which it's a hilarious vote, actually. Why is it a hilarious vote? We had 374 votes, I believe. And the answer was 52% something and 48% another one. That's, I don't know. I thought that was funny because I didn't know it was such a borderline, right? I don't know. I mean, I would see like it was 70-30. I would believe that. But 52 was like, oh, wow, this is weird. Like, should we recount votes? Okay, that's a funny thing. Okay, either way. So this is what's going to happen. Us, in the sake of selling everything, we came into agreements with launchpads. This is obvious. You guys know that. What you guys don't know, it's the new launchpads. So the generation of launchpad is exposure, right? So it's very simple. Whoever invests in you, you can capture for them to become part of your community. And in this case, our community needs to be strong enough to also share with potential issuers. We don't force the investment. Of course, we're not a crowdfunding platform. We just say, but it's important that there's a possibility of engagement, right? So it's important that we have the most amplification possible, not just for our BKN, but for our product. Even though, again, some people have just us for tokenization in private, so they don't look for the public. So in the end, we're just the Shopify version, which means we provide the tools and functionalities for companies to grab it and tokenize on their own terms and by themselves. So, nonetheless, it is important that we can grow. Launchpads are a very difficult theme, in the sense that also it's bear market and bull market. Bull market, everybody was selling. Bear market, everybody's more expectant as to see how a token is going to perform. We managed to secure good deals. We now have better deals, or not better deals. I will say that will be a disrespect. We have higher tires. Does not mean they're better. We just have higher tires of launchpads, and we are in agreement with a few to give them now our whole remaining supply. The whole remaining supply is enough, but problem is that the money itself, we have to upfront it, meaning that there's a deviation from the moment that you list when you receive the funds, but we need to put that into liquidity and everything. So we will have to front end a big amount, because it's a risk. But then again, this is the game, so you have to. There's no other option. We were gonna finish the race and close it this weekend, because we already fulfill the percentage that we wanted to sell by ourselves. So we already were success in that. And we started thinking about, kind of like, are we gonna push our community to the launchpads in case they want to buy more, or are we still acquiring leads and are we going to push it into the launchpad? So this was a hard decision. In the sense, it is important to nurture your community as in any Web3 company you have to, but the decision relies on who's going to sell at the end, right? So are we the ones going to be selling directly to the community or new members? Or is the launchpad going to sell? So that means all the newcomers or our community, we have to push them to a launchpad. In the end, that's why we threw the vote, because we were like, you know what? I mean, for me or the team, for Breaking itself, it's super simple to close and say like, we're off business. Now we go into the listing side and we push the marketing for listing, which is still hasn't happened. As you guys are aware, we have pushed for community building for selling, but now the marketing of the listing is a whole new set of rules, because now you have to create that incentive to generate a buying pressure during your listing. So that means newcomers who haven't invested in any ICO have to go into the listing to get up buying pressure to optimize the pricing that we have in head, because all of this is just pure math and a lot of FOMO and a lot of various things and like 10 different things united as one. So without going too long, what the 52% want is that we keep a remainder of allocation and we not supply into the launch. So what we're gonna do is we had a deal with one launchpad who we're not gonna pursue. We still have another ones. We're not going to announce yet because now we're detailing. Now that we know what is our end game, so to speak, we're going to start signing our agreements. We're going to start onboarding them, conclude our relationship, and announce them as our final launchpads, because that's the remainder of the public round 2. But we're going to keep, we did some maths based on how we've been doing, and we're going to keep 100K for us. Sales or not, the decision is done. We believe that we're going to sell that 100K to community members or newcomers. So those who want to directly buy from us before the IDOs happen, they will go. And after June, they will have to go to a launchpad to get BKN from a launchpad. It's the same condition. What is the benefit of buying directly, or what is in reality, there's none, in the sense that you get the BKN as well, same conditions and terms and whatnot. Thing is, in some launchpads, you need to have the launchpad token to be staked during a term. So you have, if not here, you will have to maybe buy the whatever token from the launchpad and have it staked for a certain month to have a position and everything. But then again, the important thing is that the condition of the BKN and acquisition, there's no difference. Public round 1 is what it is. Public round 2 is what it is. But in that sense, the 52% is given. Now, myself, as a person from Bricken, it adds more pressure. I think it's a decision that it becomes hard, because for us it will be simpler just to delegate the selling to another, to focus on other things. But we decided to vote. And why you guys these things we decided to vote? Because we're gonna start getting engaging more. I promise you guys that this was gonna transform in so many things as a DAO. We wanna do engagement, but in the end, we're learning as we go, because a lot of the things that we're pursuing are gonna be done on the DAO. So before we start pushing new product or functionalities to our clients, we need to test that those functionalities work as we did. So for example, we have a metric now that we said, for example, we have around 2,500 approximately investors and 372. Let me do a quick math here. I forgot. So let's say 2,100 divided by 372. 6%, let's say 7% of our investors voted. So the reasoning here and the data that we wanted to validate is how many investors from STO can get onto voting, or how can you incentivize more people to vote? Because in the end, 7% is a low number. Some would say in crypto could be a huge number, but this is something that, for example, for our STOs can determine a problem, because if they sell whatever and only 7% get around to vote on decision making from the company, it can provide them with a situation of a problem. So now, also in validation of data phase, we have to establish if how or what can be done to not have 7% on a voting, because that can generate a deviation, because if 7% of 100 only votes, that means that 93% of the whole people who invest, they have no vote. And what happens afterwards? When that happens afterwards and it's not a high number, then when you make decisions, it will say like you were not engaged for some decision, so you can always complain, and people like to say like they weren't part of or they weren't taken care into consideration. So there's a lot of that factors that we want to see how we can manage to create a channel or something that people can really vote when it's needed. So that's why we also like to do this. We're going to start doing it more because we need to start generating that kind of functionality for our clients, because everything, whoever sees this and then analyzes our past 2 years, you will notice that many of the things we have done is to test trial functionalities and tools, because in the end, we are the ones with the know-how and we have a hypothesis of how we things can perform. But in reality, you have to test them. And while we can test them with fake data, yeah, I can put an algorithm and I can add ChatGPT and maybe it will say like, but 52%, the reality was 7%. So there you go. Just a little bit of more as to why you're going to see a lot more of these kind of engagements, because we need to understand what is happening in the space, how our investors reacting, or what do we need to emphasize that. So as of now, we can take the decision based on 7%, which I believe is low. I don't think it's an accurate decision or an accurate set of data to make such a decision, but in the end, it is what it is. So to make this short, couple of recaps. Most likely next C. L Bank were accepted. You guys know that. We applied for Gate and Qcoin. I want to wish the best to the team. If we don't get there, it's not a fail. We just have to pursue larger and bigger afterwards. The goals are set, and it's not sometimes how fast and easy you can get. The matter is that you get there. So I have no doubt that this team will pursue to getting those exchanges. But sometimes you just have to stop trying, recuperate, recovery, do what you have at hand, do it better, and then relaunch. So June is happening. If it will not happen, it's because I'm gonna make it up. One of the two exchanges is still on the due diligence and reviewing and requesting information and incentivizing us that there's a possibility to launch there. I'm making it up because I don't know if such case will happen, but it's important that from the last month, I'll be as transparent as possible. Some people will say I'm crazy for being so transparent, but you know what? It's been 2 years, guys. So if you guys don't know how we run BKN already by now, then there's no chance that I'm gonna say something that you guys don't know. So I'd rather make this company transparent for the good of the bad, and then we'll see what happens on Judgment Day, right? Judgment Day being listing day, because that's when everything we've worked for the last 2 years and everything that we have tried to fulfill will be judged by the markets. So not even clients, not even the team, not even the partners, not even the VCs, everything. The market itself is gonna set us trial. So that's it on my end. I have nothing else to add except obviously thank you for everybody who's been trusting us, for the patience, for for everything, for I don't know, for playing a game of cards on a Sunday and making some people of the team laugh. Sometimes we need that because trust me, we're all humans in this. We might make some decisions that are not likable, but at least we make the decisions with enough information at hand, and we have always done that here in Bricken. So we will continue doing so. And for that reason, we will definitely close our funding. We will keep 100K for ourselves, Bricken investors, potential investor, and whatever is not sold, we burn it. So whatever is not sold for any back, we're not gonna keep it. We have our treasuries. We have to play with the markets that we established. So whatever is not sold, we will definitely burn it because that's the legit thing to do. And basically, that's all on my side. I don't know if you have some quick questions that you will have to, you would like to ask.
Not here.
All right. No questions. I'm gonna take that as a positive thing.
Mr. Edwin.
Yes, hello. Hey, how are you, mate?
What's up? What's up?
Not much.
You are for Discord.
I'm
For
sorry, I couldn't
Discord.
hear you. What about Discord?
I am Borgi from Discord.
Hey, Budgie, what's up, chess master?
What's up, sir? How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you, Budgie. I didn't know you were the same guy, so
I have,
okay.
yeah. I have just a little question
Go ahead.
about listing. Will you announce it this month or next month?
As soon as the final resolution happens from Gate and Qcoin, I'll announce it. If they say no or whatever, or they delay, I'll definitely communicate that. And if not, we launch with the ones that I said, and we go for it. No more. This is it.
Yes, I respect what are you doing. Hard working. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Boji. No, thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day, sir.
All right. Any other questions? You can
Hello.
write them on the yeah. Hey, hello.
Hello, Mr. Mata. It's a great pleasure talking to you. I chatted you on the website chat box. If you remember me, I had trouble buying the tokens. I did it
Yes.
manually.
Oh
Yes.
yes, of course. This weekend
Uh,
was it? No?
yes. At the end of the week, the day. Yes, I did it. It was 3 a.m.
Yes.
that you told me I had to go to sleep after a long day.
Yeah, it's Saturday. So yeah, thanks.
Yes. Anyhow, thank
Thanks
you.
for joining, of
Anyhow.
course.
Thank you so much as well. I read the whole paper and it's great. I wish you to be successful in your project. I trusted you. I invested. The question
Thank
is,
you.
I thank you too. I want to know if you when exactly the distribution will happen because I'm waiting for my tokens and I want to invite more friends or other
Yeah,
people
of course.
to
So
invest.
basically, distribution will happen according to our white paper and the dashboard. So public round 2 has a 20% TGE. So that means on the day of listing, you will have the possibility of claiming in the same process in the database, the BKN, which will be transferred to your wallet. So that's 20%. And then the rest is locked via vesting, a linear vesting of 12 months. So that means on a day, in a daily day, you will be accumulating BKN, which you can claim whenever you want. So you can claim on day 2, 0.5%, something like that, or on day 30. So it's kind of like the vesting methodology that we have. And the reason why we have a strict vesting is because it is important for us to contrast the inflation. So one of the biggest common denominators of tokens is how many tokens hit the market, right? So how fast all your tokens hit the market. And this is why we did it in a this long linear, especially with public round 1 and everything, because a company has to offset the selling pressure. So you have a market maker, you have a liquidity that you provide to the market, and basically you need to start contrasting that, because we see projects that didn't do well just because they had suddenly, like, I don't know, 10% of the total supply out in the market on day 1. It's impossible to contrast that. Impossible. So there was no solution for you because you did raise, but you put so much supply suddenly that the market itself just went crazy. So markets is not about controlling. You cannot control markets, but you can definitely try to compress the pressure points. So there's your answer.
Thank you for your answer. And I know that your finance team is really busy, quite busy, but I've not received them yet.
All right.
How do you think? How much time does it take normally?
Today, the day hasn't been over. I know our CFO is listening to this, so I will just make a quick heads up. Let's review the manual payments on the weekend and send an acknowledgement to email, and then update the dashboard. So they will probably do it along the day or early morning tomorrow, but this is usually done on Monday. So sorry for the delay, but yeah, no doubts that you will see your dashboard updated from today, the next 24 hours. Let's see.
Thank you so much again, and have a nice day. Good evening, actually, in Barcelona.
Yes. Good evening.
Bye. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye. All right, team. I'm late, 8 minutes to another meeting that I have, so I have to apologize. We'll go a recap and let's keep in touch. So now you guys know what is our final allocation. For that, we have 100K available. And then the launchpads. In the next 2 weeks, we'll announce the remainder of launchpads, which are doing the last allocation. Launchpads will be selling our BKN token 2 weeks before listing. So we're right on track for our listing in June. And then we just give them the news that say we launch on the 24th of June. So that means 14 days before they start selling through their different launchpad. So whoever wants to buy our BKN in June, then they will have to go through a launchpad channel because us, we will be focusing on listing. And with that, thank you very much to everyone. Have a splendid week and wish you all the best.